It's now been over 2 years since we tragically lost Ken Block, and it still feels wrong to talk about him in the past tense. You can't just describe someone like Ken Block with a single word. Even a book may not do this man justice. With Ken, his videos and online presence spoke louder than words, and that is how most people knew Ken. His gymkhana stunts and marketing intellect helped shape the automotive world. Even after his passing, his legacy continues to inspire. The Peterson Automotive Museum and Ken Block's Institute have put on a beautiful display called The People's Champ: The Impact of Ken Block, which features all of Ken's most iconic cars that appeared in the Gymkhana series or just on the Hoonigan channel. It's honestly wild to see these cars in person. I'll know the stunts were real, but seeing the machine that Ken actually drove up Pikes Peak feels like you're living in a dream, because these stunts were so insane, it almost felt out of this world. And I think that's really why Ken had such a big influence on motorsport and car culture in general. It's honestly a little surreal seeing all of Ken's work in one place. With how extensive and diverse it is no surprise as to why Ken is the people's champ, even to this day. You can see this beyond just the exhibit as well. Ken's influence could be easily seen at the car meet that was hosted prior to the museum opening up. I've attended all types of car meets, events, races, you name it. And usually there ends up being one group that dominates the crowd. But for this event, it really seemed like Ken Block's influence was greater than rally, JDM, drift, Euro, you name it. You appreciate cars or motorsport, you could appreciate Ken's art. And it was really one of the most beautiful things to be a part of. The cars community and cool merch like this cool collectible pin set were great. What really made the event for me was the feeling that everyone was there to appreciate the legendary life of Ken Block, which was perfectly complemented by the precise details considered by the museum and Ken Block's Institute. The best example was that they were giving away free Randy's donuts and coffee, which I just thought was a nice gesture, but after heading into the exhibit, it became clear that this was a subtle nod to one of his most iconic gymkhana drifts. Can you see the donut drift in your head or no? If not, it didn't dawn on me until I literally saw it pictured in the exhibit right here. This caused all the memories to come flowing back. The attention to detail was everywhere. The curators didn't just assemble a gallery, they built an experience. While walking through the exhibit, it didn't feel like I was looking at Ken Block's legacy. It felt like I was walking with it. His presence was everywhere. His style, loud, sharp, bold, was just like his driving style, which is quite funny because when you watch interviews of him, he was a pretty reserved guy, and seeing his whole career laid out in front of me really made me understand that Ken was the type of guy who just did. He let his actions speak, and that was how he stood out. And that's why we all liked him. Now, we all liked looking at Ken Block's car collection. It's something else. A lot of amazing cars, and we could go through each and every one for hours. The history, the attention to detail, the passion, the creativity, and pushing the limits. Each one of his builds had a purpose, whether it was to break the internet, take on a rally stage, or just do something no one had done before. When you look at all of them together, it hits you. The Hoonicorn, the crazy trucks, the rally cars, they weren't built to collect dust. They were built to be driven hard and to put on a show. You can tell Ken cared about every detail, from the way they looked to how they performed. Nothing was halfway. It all had to be his style, and honestly, it's super inspiring. It makes you want to go out, work on your own car, or start something, because it shows what's possible when you go all in on what you love. Ken didn't follow anyone else's path. He made his own. And now, even though he's gone, passion is still here, and is a constant reminder that you don't have to do things the normal way. You can pave your own way and set your own journey, because that's really what he did. He was a pioneer in every field that he was in. DC shoes had a grip on society back in the early 2000s. Like, I still remember everyone wearing the DC shoes like it was yesterday. And his Gymkhana videos were quite literally seen by millions. He was also the founder and the face of Hoonigan, probably most iconically known for their YouTube videos. But Ken was bigger than any one of his accomplishments. What he created was a movement. He literally united the entire automotive world and helped shape the internet culture that we see today around cars. It was a beautiful thing to see, and if you want to feel inspired and see the impact that Ken left behind, you definitely need to check it out. Usually museums aren't really my thing, but honestly, experiencing the community and seeing the culture was incredibly eye-opening. The Peterson Museum has a bunch of other cool stuff too, but Ken Block's The People's Champ exhibit at the museum is only going on till October 2025. If you can make it out, highly recommend it. It's definitely worth a visit, especially when there's a pre-game car meet before the museum opens. It allows you to get a perspective on the community that Ken Block helped build, not to mention the cool pins that you could buy and the free coffee and donuts, specifically Randy's. The museum has a bunch of other cool stuff too, like the Mach 5, a bunch of weird exhibits with huge car models, and a ton of other cars that you would never see out in the wild. Seriously, if you're into cars and the culture behind them, it's worth a visit, but definitely go see the Ken Block People's Champ exhibit. It helped change my perspective, and I think that's what the museum's all about. So it was truly a perfect tribute to Ken Block, and I'm really happy I got to go. I'm going to be going to the next car meet hosted by Ken Block's institution and the Peterson Automotive Museum. So be sure to subscribe if you want to catch the video on that one as well. If you do end up visiting the exhibit, drop a comment and let me know what you thought, and if you were as moved and inspired by it as I was. I would really be interested in hearing that. So RIP Ken Block.